The image of the royal guard is synonymous with unwavering stoicism. Clad in their iconic scarlet tunics and towering bearskin hats, they stand as living embodiments of tradition. Their faces often inscrutable, their movements precise and unwavering. They are the silent sentinels of Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and other royal residences, their presence a constant reminder of the enduring history and power of the British monarchy. For generations, the Royal Guard have been drilled to perfection, their every action governed by a strict code of conduct. Discipline is paramount. Deviation from protocol is unthinkable. They are trained to withstand distractions, to ignore the curious gazes of tourists, and to maintain their composure in the face of any situation. Their mission is simple: to protect the sovereign and the royal residences, and to uphold the dignity of the crown. Their role extends far beyond mere security. They are symbols of national pride, figures steeped in history and tradition. The changing of the guard ceremony is a carefully choreographed spectacle that draws crowds from around the world, a testament to the enduring fascination with the royal guard and the traditions they represent. The guards are carefully selected and undergo rigorous training, not only in combat and security but also in etiquette and deportment. They must be physically fit, mentally sharp, and possess an unwavering commitment to duty. Their uniforms, steeped in history, add to their imposing presence. The bearskin hats, originally designed to make soldiers appear taller and more intimidating, are now a cherished symbol of the Royal Guard. The weight of tradition rests heavily on their shoulders. Every step they take, every glance they cast, is scrutinized and interpreted. They are expected to be flawless, to embody the ideals of service, loyalty, and unwavering dedication. The slightest deviation from protocol can be met with severe consequences, a stark reminder of the importance of maintaining discipline and upholding the standards of the Royal Guard. They are, in essence, living statues, guardians of tradition, and silent witnesses to history. Their unyielding presence is a source of comfort and reassurance, a symbol of stability in an ever-changing world. Against this backdrop of rigid tradition and unwavering discipline, we meet Lily, a bright spark in a world often too quick to overlook the simple joys. Lily, a spirited young girl, faced life from a wheelchair, but her physical limitations never dampened her infectious enthusiasm or dimmed the light in her eyes. She possessed a zest for life that was both inspiring and heartwarming. Lily harbored a special dream, a wish that danced in her heart like a playful melody: to see the Royal Guard in all their splendor. The images she'd seen in books and on television, the scarlet tunics, the towering bearskin hats, the unwavering stoicism, had captured her imagination. They represented something grand, something historic, something truly special. The trip to London was more than just a vacation. It was the culmination of months of planning and anticipation. Lily's parents, Sarah and Mark, had meticulously arranged every detail to ensure she had the best possible experience. They researched accessible routes, booked wheelchair-friendly accommodations, and carefully planned their itinerary to maximize Lily's chances of seeing the Royal Guard up close. The preparations were a family affair, filled with excitement and shared anticipation. Lily helped pack her favorite toys, choosing a small, plush corgi dressed in a miniature version of a Royal Guard's uniform. She carefully selected her outfit for the day, a bright, cheerful dress adorned with tiny Union Jack flags. Sarah and Mark spent hours answering Lily's endless questions about the Royal Guard, explaining their history, their traditions, and their role in protecting the Queen. They showed her videos of the changing of the guard ceremony, pointing out the different regiments and the intricate choreography. Lily even practiced her greeting, waving enthusiastically at her reflection in the mirror and rehearsing a polite hello. She wanted to be ready to greet the guards, to show them her appreciation for their service and dedication. The journey to London was an adventure in itself. Lily gazed out the window, her eyes wide with wonder as the countryside whizzed by. She peppered her parents with questions about the landmarks they passed, her curiosity insatiable as they drew closer to London. The excitement reached fever pitch. Lily could hardly contain her anticipation. The dream she had held in her heart for so long was finally about to come true. She was about to see the Royal Guard, and she couldn't wait. The air crackled with anticipation as Lily and her parents arrived outside Buckingham Palace. The area was a hive of activity, a swirling tapestry of sights and sounds. Tourists from every corner of the globe jostled for position, cameras poised, eager to capture a glimpse of British history in action. The atmosphere was electric, a palpable sense of excitement that permeated the air. Despite the crowds, Sarah and Mark carefully navigated Lily's wheelchair, determined to find a spot where she could have a clear view of the proceedings. They eventually secured a position along the barriers, close enough to the palace gates to feel the energy of the crowd but far enough back to allow Lily ample space to maneuver. The scene was a kaleidoscope of colors. Red double-decker buses rumbled past, their iconic forms instantly recognizable. Black cabs weaved through the traffic, their drivers expertly navigating the crowded streets. Street performers entertained the masses, their music and antics adding to the vibrant atmosphere. Lily's eyes darted around, taking in every detail. She gazed up at the majestic facade of Buckingham Palace, its imposing architecture a testament to centuries of history. The royal standard fluttered proudly atop the flagpole, a symbol of the Queen's presence. The crowd began to surge forward as the anticipated arrival of the royal guard drew near. A murmur rippled through the throng as people craned their necks, eager to catch the first glimpse of the approaching spectacle. The air thickened with anticipation, the excitement almost tangible. Lily gripped the arms of her wheelchair, her heart pounding with excitement. She leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the palace gates, her breath held captive in her chest. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. Sarah and Mark stood beside her, their hands resting gently on her shoulders, sharing in her excitement. They knew how much this moment meant to her, how long she had dreamed of seeing the royal guard. They had done everything they could to make her dream come true, and now it was finally within reach. The distant sound of drums began to echo through the air, growing louder with each passing moment. The unmistakable rhythm signaled the imminent arrival of the royal guard, and a hush fell over the crowd as all eyes turned towards the palace gates. The spectacle was about to begin. Then, they appeared from beyond the palace gates. A wave of scarlet and bearskin emerged, cutting through the anticipation like a sharpened blade. The royal guard. Their march was a masterpiece of precision, a symphony of synchronized movement. Each step was perfectly measured, each arm swing perfectly aligned. It was a display of discipline and control that was both awe-inspiring and slightly intimidating. The rhythmic thud of their boots against the pavement echoed through the square, a steady, unwavering beat that resonated in the chests of the onlookers. The guards were imposing figures, their tall frames accentuated by the towering bearskin hats that adorned their heads. The scarlet tunics, meticulously pressed and spotless, seemed to glow in the afternoon sun. Their faces, partially obscured by the shadows of their hats, were impassive, their expressions unreadable. The rhythmic sounds of their approach were mesmerizing. The steady beat of the drums, the crisp commands of the officers, the clinking of metals, all blended together to create a unique and unforgettable auditory experience. It was a sound that spoke of history, tradition, and unwavering duty. As they drew closer, Lily's eyes widened with wonder. The royal guard were even more magnificent than she had imagined. The precision of their movements, the grandeur of their uniforms, the sheer presence they exuded. It was all breathtaking. She clutched her plush corgi dressed as a guard even tighter, her little heart swelling with admiration. This was the moment she had dreamed of, the moment she had been waiting for. And it was even more magical than she could have ever imagined. The guards marched with unwavering focus, their eyes fixed straight ahead, seemingly oblivious to the throngs of tourists lining the streets. They were like automatons, programmed to perform their duties with unwavering precision. But beneath the stoic exterior, beneath the rigid discipline, lay a group of individuals, young men and women who had dedicated themselves to serving their country. They were the guardians of tradition, the protectors of the crown, and the embodiment of British pride. As the royal guard marched past, Lily felt a surge of emotion. She wanted to wave, to cheer, to express her admiration for these imposing figures. But she hesitated, unsure of whether she was allowed to break the solemnity of the occasion. She glanced at her parents, seeking their approval. Encouraged by a gentle nod from her mother, Lily, unable to contain her excitement any longer, decided to act. A bright smile illuminated her face as she raised her hand and began to wave enthusiastically. Her small hand, adorned with a colorful bracelet, fluttered in the air, a beacon of pure joy. "Hello," she called out, her voice clear and bright despite the surrounding noise. The word was carried on the wind. A small offering of goodwill to the passing guards, she repeated the greeting, hoping to catch the attention of at least one of the imposing figures marching by. But the guards continued their unwavering march, their faces impassive, their eyes fixed straight ahead. They showed no sign of acknowledging Lily's greeting. They didn't flinch, didn't glance, didn't even betray the slightest flicker of recognition. It was as if she wasn't even there. For a moment, Lily's smile faltered. A shadow of disappointment flickered across her face. Had she done something wrong? Was she not supposed to greet them? She glanced at her parents, her eyes filled with a mixture of confusion and sadness. Sarah and Mark exchanged a knowing glance. They understood Lily's disappointment, but they also understood the protocol. The Royal Guard were not supposed to interact with the public. They were symbols of tradition and duty, and their behavior was strictly regulated. They gently reassured Lily, explaining that the guards weren't being rude. They were simply following their orders. It wasn't personal. It was just the way things were. Despite their explanation, Lily couldn't help but feel a little disheartened. She had so wanted to connect with the guards, to show them her appreciation. But it seemed that her dream of a personal interaction was not to be. The moment highlighted the stark contrast between the rigid discipline of the Royal Guard and the innocent enthusiasm of a child. It underscored the unyielding nature of tradition and the seemingly impenetrable barrier that separated the guards from the ordinary people they were sworn to protect. It was a reminder that sometimes, even the purest intentions can be thwarted by the constraints of protocol. Then, something unexpected happened. Just as Lily's disappointment began to settle in, one of the guards, a young man with a particularly stern expression, subtly broke from formation. It wasn't a dramatic departure, but a slight, almost imperceptible shift in his trajectory. He slowed his pace ever so slightly, just enough to create a small gap between himself and the guard beside him. The movement was so subtle that at first, only a few people noticed, but those who did exchanged surprised glances. Was he allowed to do that? Was something wrong? The air crackled with a renewed sense of anticipation, this time tinged with confusion. The guards' deviation from protocol was a clear violation of the strict rules governing their behavior. It was a moment that defied expectations, a ripple in the fabric of tradition. The crowd held its collective breath, wondering what he was about to do. Sarah and Mark exchanged a look of disbelief. They had witnessed countless Royal Guard processions, but they had never seen anything like this before. Was he going to address the crowd? Was he going to reprimand someone? They couldn't imagine what was about to unfold. Lily, still slightly downcast from the initial rejection, hadn't noticed the guard's subtle shift. She was looking down at her hands, fiddling with the plush corgi in her lap. But as the guard's movement became more pronounced, as he clearly began to veer away from the marching line, a murmur rippled through the crowd. Heads turned, eyes widened, and whispers began to circulate. "What's he doing? Is that allowed? Something's happening." The unexpectedness of the moment was amplified by the guard's unwavering stoicism. He continued to maintain his impassive expression, his eyes fixed straight ahead, as if nothing unusual was happening. It was this juxtaposition, the rigid discipline and the blatant disregard for protocol, that made the moment so extraordinary. The crowd, accustomed to the predictable precision of the Royal Guard, was now witnessing something truly unique, something that defied explanation. The carefully orchestrated spectacle had been disrupted, and no one knew what was about to happen next. The stage was set for a moment that would be etched in the memories of everyone present. In a moment that defied all expectations, the guard, with deliberate care, began to kneel. The movement, surprisingly graceful for such a tall and imposing figure, brought him down to Lily's level. He lowered himself slowly, his movements precise and controlled, until he was kneeling beside her wheelchair, his face just inches from hers. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. This was unprecedented. This was a moment that would be talked about for years to come. The rigid facade of the Royal Guard had cracked, revealing a glimpse of humanity beneath. Lily, startled by the sudden movement, looked up. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she met the gaze of the kneeling guard. Her mouth formed a perfect O of surprise, For a moment, she was speechless, completely overwhelmed by the unexpected gesture. Then, her face lit up with pure, unadulterated joy at a smile, brighter than the London sun, spread across her face, chasing away the earlier disappointment. Her eyes sparkled with wonder, reflecting the kindness and compassion of the guard kneeling before her. The guard, still maintaining a semblance of composure, offered a small, almost imperceptible and it was a subtle gesture. But it spoke volumes that it was an acknowledgement of Lily, a recognition of her presence, a silent message of understanding. "Hello?" he said, his voice surprisingly gentle, a stark contrast to his stern appearance. The word was barely audible above the murmur of the crowd, but it was enough that it was the connection Lily had longed for. "Hello?" Lily replied, her voice filled with awe. She reached out a small hand and gently touched the guard's gloved hand. That it was a fleeting touch, but it was a moment of profound connection. They exchanged a few words, their conversation a private moment amidst the public spectacle. Perhaps he asked her name. Perhaps she told him about her dream of seeing the royal guard. The content of their conversation didn't matter. What mattered was the connection, the shared humanity, the bridge that had been built between a symbol of tradition and a child with a dream. The moment was pure magic, a testament to the power of kindness and compassion. It was a reminder that even in the most rigid of institutions, there is always room for humanity, for empathy, for a simple act of connection that can melt hearts around the world. The impact on the onlookers was immediate and profound. A wave of emotion rippled through the crowd, transforming the atmosphere from one of polite curiosity to one of shared humanity. Tears welled up in eyes, smiles stretched across faces, and gasps of delight escaped from lips. The collective heart of the crowd swelled with warmth and joy. The moment was so powerful, so unexpected, that people instinctively reached for their phones. Cameras were raised, videos were started, and the air filled with the soft clicks and beeps of recording devices. Everyone wanted to capture this extraordinary moment, to preserve it, to share it with the world. The scene was a tapestry of emotions. Some people openly wept, their tears a testament to the power of human connection. Others beamed with pride, their smiles reflecting the kindness and compassion of the guard. Many simply stood in stunned silence, their hearts overflowing with emotion. The air was thick with a sense of shared experience, a feeling of being part of something special, something truly meaningful. The crowd, once a collection of individual tourists, had become a community, united by the shared experience of witnessing an act of unexpected kindness. Sarah and Mark, Lily's parents, were overwhelmed with emotion. Tears streamed down their faces as they watched their daughter interact with the guard. They had never expected anything like this to happen. It was a moment they would cherish forever. They looked around at the crowd, and they saw the same emotions reflected in the faces of the other onlookers. They realized that this wasn't just a special moment for Lily. It was a special moment for everyone who witnessed it. The guard's simple act of kneeling had transcended language, culture, and background. It had touched something deep within the human spirit, reminding everyone of the power of kindness, compassion, and connection. The murmurs of the crowd grew louder, filled with words of praise and admiration. People commented on the guard's bravery, his compassion, his willingness to break protocol for a moment of human connection. The atmosphere was electric, charged with positive energy. It was a reminder that even in a world often filled with negativity and division, there is still room for hope, for kindness, for moments that can melt hearts around the world. The kneeling guard had given them all a gift, a reminder of the power of human connection. As quickly as he had broken from formation, the guard prepared to rejoin his unit. The transition was seamless, almost imperceptible. With a fluid, practiced motion, he rose from his kneeling position, his movements as precise and controlled as they had been when he knelt. He didn't linger, didn't offer a final wave, didn't betray any outward sign of emotion. He simply stood, straightened his tunic, and with a barely noticeable adjustment, reintegrated himself into the marching line. It was a remarkable feat of discipline, a testament to the rigorous training he had undergone. He had allowed himself a moment of human connection, a brief departure from protocol, but he had not compromised his duty. He had maintained his composure, his professionalism, and his commitment to the royal guard. The crowd watched in awe as he rejoined his unit, marveling at the seamlessness of the transition. It was as if the moment of kindness had never happened, as if the guard had simply materialized back into the marching line. But the memory of the moment lingered, etched in the hearts and minds of everyone who had witnessed it. The guard had proven that it was possible to be both a symbol of tradition and a human being, that it was possible to uphold duty while also displaying compassion. The rhythmic thud of the guard's boots against the pavement resumed, the sound a reminder of the unwavering discipline that governed their actions. But now, the sound was imbued with a new meaning, a reminder of the humanity that lay beneath the surface. Lily watched as the guard marched away, her heart filled with gratitude. She knew that he had risked a great deal by breaking protocol, and she appreciated his kindness more than words could express. She clutched her plush corgi dressed as a guard even tighter, her little heart swelling with admiration. The Royal Guard were even more magnificent than she had imagined, not just for their grandeur and precision, but for their capacity for compassion. The moment of pure humanity had been fleeting, but its impact would last a lifetime. The Guard had shown the world that even in the most rigid of institutions, there is always room for kindness, for empathy, for a simple act of connection that can melt hearts around the world. He had honored his duty and touched a heart, all in one brief, unforgettable moment. The digital age amplified the impact of that single, heartfelt moment. Within minutes, the photos and videos captured by the onlookers began to flood social media platforms. The image of the Royal Guard kneeling beside Lily in her wheelchair, a stark contrast of tradition and humanity, resonated deeply with people around the world. A single photo, posted by a tourist from Canada with the caption, "Kindness knows no protocol," quickly went viral. The image spread like wildfire across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, shared and retweeted countless times. People from all walks of life were captivated by the image, moved by the Guard's simple act of compassion. The videos, capturing the entire encounter, were even more powerful. They showed the Guard's subtle break from formation, his careful kneel, his gentle words to Lily, and his seamless return to his unit. The videos conveyed the emotions of the moment, the joy, the wonder, the shared humanity. The hashtag Royal Guard kindness began to trend worldwide as people shared their own stories of unexpected acts of compassion and kindness. The image of the kneeling guard became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in a world often filled with negativity and division, there is still room for goodness. The story transcended geographical boundaries and cultural differences. People from different countries, different backgrounds, different beliefs, were all united by the shared admiration for the Guard's actions. The image and videos were shared by celebrities, politicians, and influencers, further amplifying the reach of the story. News outlets around the world began to pick up the story, highlighting the Guard's bravery and compassion. The digital age had turned a small, personal moment into a global phenomenon. The image of the kneeling guard became an internet sensation, a symbol of hope and kindness in a world that desperately needed it. The story of Lily and the Royal Guard had captured the hearts of people worldwide, reminding them of the power of human connection. It spread faster than anyone could have predicted. The virality was a testament to the universal appeal of kindness and the enduring power of human connection. The viral spread of the image and video on social media ignited a full-blown media frenzy. News outlets around the globe, from major international broadcasters to local newspapers, seized upon the story, amplifying the narrative and sparking widespread discussion. The heartwarming tale of the Royal Guard and the little girl in the wheelchair became a lead story, pushing aside political debates and economic anxieties. It was a welcome respite from the often grim headlines, a reminder of the goodness that still exists in the world. Television news programs ran segments featuring the viral video, analyzing the Guard's actions and interviewing experts on royal protocol. They explored the delicate balance between tradition and compassion, questioning whether the Guard's actions were a breach of duty or a testament to his humanity. Newspapers published front-page articles with touching headlines, celebrating the Guard's kindness and highlighting Lily's infectious spirit. They delved into the background of the Royal Guard, exploring the rigorous training they undergo and the sacrifices they make. Online news sites were flooded with articles, opinion pieces, and blog posts dissecting every aspect of the story. Comment sections buzzed with lively debates, as people shared their thoughts and feelings about the guard's actions. The media frenzy extended beyond traditional news outlets. Talk shows invited psychologists and sociologists to discuss the story's emotional impact and its significance in a broader cultural context. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to exploring the themes of duty, compassion, and human connection. The story became a talking point in homes, schools, and workplaces around the world. People debated the merits of the guard's actions, questioning whether he should be praised for his compassion or reprimanded for breaking protocol. The media coverage amplified the narrative, transforming the story from a simple act of kindness into a symbol of hope and inspiration. It sparked a global conversation about the importance of empathy, the power of human connection, and the need to challenge rigid traditions in the name of compassion. The media frenzy was a reflection of the story's universal appeal and its ability to touch hearts across cultures and backgrounds as the story continued to dominate headlines and social media feeds. A new question emerged. Who was the royal guard who had shown such remarkable compassion? The public's curiosity was piqued, and a collective effort began to identify the individual behind the bearskin hat. However, this search was approached with a degree of caution. While there was a strong desire to understand his motivations and to celebrate his act of kindness, there was also a recognition of the need to respect his privacy and to avoid putting him in a difficult position with his superiors. News outlets and online communities wrestled with the ethical considerations of identifying the guard. They recognized that he was a serving member of the military, bound by strict rules and regulations, and that any unwanted attention could have negative consequences for him. Therefore, the search for his identity was conducted discreetly, relying on subtle clues and careful analysis of the available photos and videos. Online sleuths pored over images, examining the guard's uniform, his posture, and any other distinguishing features that might help to narrow down the possibilities. Some speculated about his regiment, his rank, and his potential background. They scoured military records and social media profiles, searching for a match. But they did so with a sense of responsibility, mindful of the potential impact on the guard's life. The media, too, exercised restraint. While they reported on the public's interest in identifying the guard, they avoided sensationalizing the search or engaging in any intrusive investigative tactics. They understood the importance of balancing the public's right to know with the individual's right to privacy. The challenge was to satisfy the public's desire to understand the motivations behind the guard's actions without jeopardizing his career or infringing on his personal life. It was a delicate balancing act, requiring sensitivity, discretion, and a deep understanding of the complexities of the situation. The public's fascination with identifying the guard was driven by a desire to understand what had prompted him to break protocol. Was it a personal connection to disability? Was it a deep-seated sense of empathy? Or was it simply a spontaneous act of kindness? The answers to these questions would provide valuable insights into the human side of the Royal Guard and the values that underpin their service. In the absence of direct confirmation from the guard himself, speculation ran rampant about the possible reasons behind his decision to break protocol. What motivated him to deviate from the strict rules governing his behavior? Was it a spontaneous act of kindness, or was there a deeper, more personal explanation? One prevailing theory centered on empathy. Perhaps the guard, witnessing Lily's enthusiasm and then her subsequent disappointment, was simply moved by compassion. He may have recognized the significance of the moment for her and felt compelled to act, regardless of the potential consequences. Another possibility explored was a personal connection to disability. Perhaps the guard had a family member or friend with a disability and understood the challenges and frustrations that Lily faced. This personal connection could have triggered a deep sense of empathy and a desire to make her day a little brighter. Some speculated that it was simply a matter of human kindness, a spontaneous act of generosity that transcended protocol and tradition. Perhaps the guard, despite his rigorous training and his commitment to duty, was simply a kind-hearted individual who couldn't resist the urge to connect with a child in need. To gain a deeper understanding of the guard's possible motivations, experts on military psychology and protocol were consulted. They offered insights into the mindset of soldiers, the pressures they face, and the ethical dilemmas they often encounter. Military psychologists explained that soldiers are trained to be disciplined and obedient, but they are also human beings with emotions and values. They are taught to follow orders, but they are also encouraged to exercise their judgment and to act with integrity. Experts on royal protocol emphasize the importance of maintaining tradition and upholding the dignity of the crown. They explained that the royal guard are symbols of national pride and that their behavior is strictly regulated to ensure they maintain a professional and respectful image. However, they also acknowledged that there are times when compassion and empathy must take precedence over protocol. They suggested that the guard's actions, while technically a breach of the rules, could be seen as a testament to his humanity and his ability to exercise good judgment in a difficult situation. The true reasons behind the guard's actions may never be fully known, but the speculation and analysis sparked a valuable conversation about the nature of duty, the importance of compassion, and the enduring power of human connection. The global attention surrounding the incident inevitably prompted official reactions from both the royal family and the military. The challenge was to navigate the situation delicately, acknowledging the positive impact of the guard's actions while also upholding the importance of tradition and protocol. Official statements were carefully crafted to strike a balance between these competing considerations. The royal family, known for their ability to adapt to changing times while preserving tradition, released a statement praising the guard's compassion and acknowledging the joy he had brought to Lily and to people around the world. The statement emphasized the importance of human connection and the power of kindness, while also reaffirming the royal family's commitment to upholding the traditions and values of the monarchy. It was a carefully worded message that sought to acknowledge the positive aspects of the incident without condoning a breach of protocol. The military, too, released a statement, acknowledging the guard's actions and emphasizing their commitment to upholding the highest standards of discipline and professionalism. The statement acknowledged that the guard had deviated from protocol but also recognized the positive impact of his actions. The military statement also emphasized the importance of empathy and compassion, highlighting the fact that soldiers are not just trained to be disciplined and obedient, but also to be responsible and caring members of society. It was a message that sought to reassure the public that the military valued both duty and humanity. Behind the scenes, there were likely discussions about how to handle the situation. Some may have argued for a strict reprimand, emphasizing the importance of upholding protocol and deterring future breaches. Others may have argued for leniency, recognizing the exceptional circumstances and the positive impact of the guard's actions. Ultimately, the decision was made to acknowledge the incident publicly while also taking steps to ensure that protocol was followed in the future. The guard was likely reminded of the importance of adhering to the rules, but he was also commended for his compassion and his ability to connect with people on a human level. The reactions from the royal family and the military reflected a delicate balancing act, a recognition of the need to uphold tradition while also embracing the values of compassion and human connection. It was a testament to their ability to adapt to changing times while preserving the enduring values of the British monarchy and the British military. Amidst the global media frenzy and the official statements, the most important perspective remained that of Lily herself. An interview with Lily and her family offered a poignant glimpse into the lasting impact of the encounter and how it made her feel. Lily, her eyes still sparkling with the memory of that special moment, described the encounter with the royal guard as the best day ever. She recounted how she had initially felt disappointed when her greeting went unacknowledged, but how her sadness quickly turned to joy when the guard knelt beside her. "He was so tall," she said, giggling, "and his hat was so big. But he was really nice. He said hello to me, and he asked me my name. It was amazing." Lily's parents, Sarah and Mark, shared their own perspectives on the encounter. They spoke of their pride in their daughter's resilience and her ability to find joy in even the simplest of things. They also expressed their gratitude to the guard for his act of kindness, which they said had made Lily's dream come true. "It was a moment we will never forget," Sarah said, her voice filled with emotion. To see Lily's face light up like that was just incredible. It meant the world to her. Mark added, "We were so touched by the guard's actions. It showed us that there are still good people in the world, people who are willing to go above and beyond to make a difference in someone's life." The interview revealed the profound impact that the encounter had had on Lily's self-esteem and her sense of belonging. She spoke of how the guard's kindness had made her feel seen and valued, and how it had given her a renewed sense of confidence. "I used to feel different," she said, "but now I know that I'm just like everyone else. The guard treated me like I was special, and that made me feel really good." The interview also highlighted the importance of inclusivity and the need to challenge stereotypes about people with disabilities. Lily's story served as a reminder that everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their physical limitations. The lasting impact of the encounter was evident in Lily's demeanor. She was more confident, more outgoing, and more determined to pursue her dreams. The Royal Guard's simple act of kindness had not only made her day but had also changed her life. Beyond the immediate heartwarming narrative, the story of the Royal Guard and Lily held significant wider implications, prompting reflections on the power of human connection, the challenging of stereotypes, and the evolving nature of tradition in a modern world. The story served as a potent reminder of the power of human connection to transcend barriers and to bridge divides. It demonstrated how a simple act of kindness could have a profound impact, not only on the recipient but also on the wider community. It challenged stereotypes about people with disabilities, showcasing Lily's spirit, enthusiasm, and resilience. It demonstrated that people with disabilities are just as deserving of respect and dignity as anyone else, and that they have the potential to lead fulfilling and meaningful lives. The story also prompted a reevaluation of tradition. It raised questions about the extent to which rigid protocols should be upheld, especially when they come at the expense of human connection and compassion. It suggested that tradition should evolve to reflect changing values and societal norms. The incident sparked a broader discussion about the changing face of tradition in the 21st century. It raised questions about how institutions can maintain their historical identity while also adapting to the needs and expectations of a modern world. Some argued that the Royal Guard's actions were a dangerous precedent, that they could undermine the authority of the military and erode the respect for tradition. Others argued that the Guard's actions were a sign of progress, that they represented a more humane and compassionate approach to public service. The story served as a catalyst for change, prompting institutions around the world to re-examine their policies and procedures. It encouraged them to consider how they could create more inclusive and compassionate environments, where human connection is valued and where tradition is balanced with empathy. The wider implications of the story extended beyond the immediate context of the Royal Guard and Lily. It served as a reminder of the importance of kindness, compassion, and human connection in all aspects of life. It encouraged people to challenge stereotypes, to embrace diversity, and to create a more just and equitable world for all. To place the story of the Royal Guard and Lily within a larger narrative, it is important to explore similar instances where Royal Guards have demonstrated unexpected compassion or humanity, breaking from protocol to connect with the public on a personal level. While the Royal Guard are known for their stoicism and unwavering adherence to protocol, there have been numerous documented cases of guards showing unexpected kindness or empathy, revealing the human side beneath the imposing uniforms. One story recounts a Royal Guard who comforted a young boy who was separated from his parents in the crowd. The guard, rather than simply directing the boy to security, knelt down and spoke to him in a reassuring voice, helping him to calm down until his parents were found. Another story tells of a Royal Guard who gave his bearskin hat to a shivering tourist during a particularly cold day. The guard, seeing that the tourist was visibly uncomfortable, offered his hat as a gesture of warmth and kindness. There are also stories of Royal Guards who have gone out of their way to assist elderly or disabled individuals, helping them to navigate the crowds or offering them a place to sit and rest. These acts of kindness, while often unreported, demonstrate the Guard's commitment to serving the public and to upholding the values of compassion and empathy. These stories, like the story of the Royal Guard and Lily, challenge the stereotype of the Royal Guard as emotionless automatons. They reveal that the Guards are human beings with feelings and values, who are capable of showing kindness and compassion, even within the confines of their strict duties. By exploring these similar stories, we can gain a deeper understanding of the Royal Guard and their role in society. We can see that they are not just symbols of tradition and duty, but also ambassadors of goodwill, who are capable of making a positive impact on the lives of others. These stories also serve as a reminder that kindness and compassion are universal values that transcend culture, background, and even protocol. They demonstrate that even in the most rigid of institutions, there is always room for humanity, for empathy, and for a simple act of connection that can make a world of difference. They paint a broader picture of humanity within a traditionally stoic institution. the lasting legacy of the Royal Guard's act of kindness will be how it symbolized the human side of even the most rigid institutions, forever changing the perception of the Guards and prompting a reevaluation of tradition versus compassion. This single act, captured in a photo that circled the globe, will be remembered as a powerful example of empathy and connection, demonstrating that even those bound by strict rules and regulations can find moments to express their humanity. The story will serve as a reminder that institutions, no matter how steeped in tradition, are ultimately made up of individuals with feelings, values, and the capacity for kindness. It will encourage people to look beyond the uniforms and the protocols, to see the human beings beneath. The legacy of the Royal Guard and Lily will also be one of inspiration, and it will inspire others to challenge stereotypes, to break down barriers, and to reach out to those who may feel marginalized or excluded. It will encourage people to be more compassionate, more empathetic, and more willing to connect with others on a human level. The story will likely be retold for generations to come, becoming a modern-day fable about the power of kindness and the importance of human connection. It will be used as an example in schools, in workplaces, and in communities around the world, to teach people about the values of empathy, compassion, and respect. The image of the kneeling guard will become an iconic symbol, representing the human side of even the most rigid institutions. It will be a reminder that tradition and compassion are not mutually exclusive, that it is possible to uphold duty while also displaying empathy. The story of the Royal Guard and Lily will live on, not just as a heartwarming tale of kindness, but as a powerful message of hope and inspiration. It will remind us that even in a world often filled with negativity and division, there is always room for goodness, for compassion, and for a simple act of connection that can melt hearts around the world. It will be a story that continues to inspire acts of kindness for years to come. The story ultimately compels us to reflect on the delicate balance between duty and humanity, questioning whether it is truly possible to honor both strict rules and the call of compassion in a world that often demands unwavering adherence to protocol. The Royal Guard, symbols of unwavering discipline, are tasked with upholding tradition and maintaining order. Their role demands obedience and adherence to a strict code of conduct. But are these qualities inherently incompatible with empathy and compassion? The story suggests that the answer is no. The Guard's actions demonstrated that it is possible to honor both duty and humanity, to uphold protocol while also displaying empathy. He found a way to reconcile these seemingly conflicting values, creating a moment of pure connection that transcended the boundaries of tradition. The key, perhaps, lies in the ability to exercise good judgment, to weigh the potential consequences of one's actions against the potential benefits. The Guard likely considered the risks of breaking protocol, but he also recognized the significance of the moment for Lily and the opportunity to make a positive impact on her life. The story also raises questions about the nature of duty itself. Is duty simply about following orders, or is it about serving the greater good? Is it about upholding tradition, or is it about making a positive difference in the world? Perhaps true duty lies in finding a way to balance these competing considerations, to uphold the values of tradition and order while also embracing the values of compassion and empathy. Perhaps true duty lies in recognizing the humanity in others and in acting in ways that promote their well-being. The story of the Royal Guard and Lily serves as a powerful reminder that we are all human beings, with feelings, values, and the capacity for kindness. It encourages us to find ways to express our humanity, even within the confines of our own duties and responsibilities. It challenges us to question the rules and regulations that govern our lives, to consider whether they are truly serving the greater good, or whether they are simply perpetuating outdated traditions and values. It inspires us to find ways to make a positive impact on the world, to connect with others on a human level, and to create a more compassionate and just society for all. In conclusion, the story of the Royal Guard and Lily offers a final, heartwarming reflection on the enduring power of kindness and the unexpected ways it can manifest, leaving us with a profound sense of hope and inspiration. It reminds us that even in a world often characterized by division and conflict, there is still room for goodness, for empathy, and for a simple act of connection that can touch hearts across the globe. The Royal Guard, symbols of tradition and duty, demonstrated that it is possible to uphold these values while also embracing the power of human connection. He showed us that compassion and protocol are not mutually exclusive, that it is possible to be both a guardian of tradition and an ambassador of goodwill. Lily, with her infectious spirit and her unwavering enthusiasm, reminded us of the importance of seeing the world through the eyes of a child, of appreciating the simple joys of life, and of never giving up on our dreams. Their encounter, captured in a single, powerful image, became a symbol of hope and inspiration for people around the world. It reminded us of the importance of kindness, compassion, and human connection in all aspects of life. The story will continue to be told, inspiring acts of kindness and challenging stereotypes for generations to come. But it will serve as a reminder that even the smallest gesture can have a profound impact, that even the most rigid institutions can be transformed by the power of human connection. Let us remember the story of the Royal Guard and Lily as we navigate our own lives, as we strive to make a positive difference in the world. Let us be inspired by their example to challenge stereotypes, to embrace diversity, and to create a more compassionate and just society for all. Let us never underestimate the power of kindness, the importance of human connection, and the enduring hope that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for a simple act of compassion that can melt hearts around the world. The world needs more stories like this one, stories that remind us of our shared humanity and the power of kindness to transform lives.